Welcome everyone, this is Pilot Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Senswinda
Hello.
and Guarendes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello everyone and Happy New Year! This is our first show of the year.
Yay!
Hey, and of course because it is New Year's Day and the Standing Stone's game team has been on vacation for the last week. There is no LOTRO beacon issue this week, though it should return next week with all the usual things in. But we do, of course, have store sales. And Guarendis, what's on sale this week?
Well, unfortunately, if you're listening to this and you're not listening live, these first few ones are sadly going to be over already. They go through January 2nd in the LOTRO store. There were double bonus points again. Final weekend to get double bonus points was this weekend. The LOTRO bonus days gives you an extra 25% XP, except for that was it Shadowfax, or not Shadowfax, Treebeard.
Treebeard, yeah.
They always give, is it a crafting boost?
No, I think it might be Virtue, is it? Or is it crafting?
Oh, maybe Virtue, yeah. Say, anyway, yeah, and also there were the select expansion discounts in the LOTRO market. 75% off Minas Wargle. That's an amazing sale. Hope everybody got a chance to take advantage of it. And 50% off War of Three Peaks, which is not as expensive as Minas Morgul. For December 30th through January 6th, it's the final week of Yule savings. So 75% off Skill and Slayer Deed boosts, 50% off the plus 5,000 enhanced reputation supplies, and you can get 35% off the Stout Axe Dwarf. Is that the first time that the Stout Axe has been discounted? Do we know?
I don't know.
I'm not sure that I've seen it on sale before like that.
Right, because I got it on. Because I got it from the expansion originally. I really didn't pay attention to sales for it.
But I know a lot of people at the time were wishing it was sold separately and they had to wait on that.
Right.
But I don't remember seeing a sale on it before now. Anyway, also, you can go ever on and on. 20% off XP boosts, enhanced XP supplies, 100% mark acquisition boosts, and virtue acceleration tomes. Those are all also on sale until the 6th. And our weekly coupon is one free 100% crafting XP with the coupon code Making It Good.
Yeah, good. All right. Then let's enter our site news, where we actually do have quite a bit of site news this week. First off, we have a couple of articles by Squirrel. The first one is called Help! I'm 141. Now 140 is update 31 guide relating to reaching level cap. And talk about questing in Gundabad and all the things that you could do in Gundabad beyond questing. And a quick thing about gearing up at level 140, but that is mainly talked about in more details in this second article, which is called Squirrel's Guide to Gundabad Gear. So talk about all the places under Gundabad where you could get geared up, which instances which give particular pieces for you. So which things come from Puklak, which ones come from House, which ones comes from Assault or Thirstruck. So mainly through those things, and of course also things you can get through either crafting or through bartering and the like. That's your complete guide to the gear that you can get once you get to 140 and really want to bring your character up to snuff, and just about how good they are based on the tiers. For example, he talks about rings, for example. He talks about, okay, if you do assault at 131 or higher, then if you do assault on tier 1, which I presume when he says tier 1, he's talking about at level cap, and then at tier 3, and then at tier 4. He doesn't say how large a group. I mean, does it require the three-person version of it, or does the solo one also give it to you at these tiers? He doesn't mention that, unfortunately. And then talks about all the various things you get for each of the various positions on there. So he has a little bit on earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings, pockets, head, shoulders, chest, gloves, pants, boots, cloaks, and then offhands. Because of course your main weapon is probably going to be your legendary. And of course where you could get various items for your legendary item also. And of course that's the part about potential things on getting your leveled up character all the way up to snuff. And we also have, though, a little bit of a story, a little break, I guess, being taken by our burglar, who is Morkandir, who has decided to go to the Yule Festival, it looks like. And I will presume that it is everything for his Yule Festival is going to be nice, calm, and quiet without the slightest bit of snark, right?
Well, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see, yes. We're talking about Morkandir here. And on top of that, we also have a video by Andang talking about the Erebor Housing. So he goes and takes a little bit of tour of that area. And we talked about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago. But of course, Andang is going to give us a full video tour of all the things, just in case you felt like having a little home inside one of the treasure hoards of Smog. Dragon not included.
I'm just looking forward to swimming in the gold like Scrooge McDuck. I know at least one person that I know that will probably end up with Erebor Housing, so I can do that when I visit their house.
Well, you don't even have to visit their house. You could just go to the public area.
That's true.
You could say maybe take a tour to one of the houses, and then while taking the tour, you could
Do the backstroke.
yeah do the backstroke. Let's head to our weekend gaming. And Querendus, what were you up to?
Well, I've had a bit of free time in the last week or so. So LOTRO, it's been a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The Hunter and Captain are questing in the loft. We kind of stalled out with the many Slayer deeds, so anything from, I think, after the Pit of Stonejaws, so what? Carbronach and Glooming Tarn and Cloven Gap, and now Welkin Lofts we'll have to do the Slayer deeds for before we can finish the throne. But oh my gosh, we when we got to Carbronach, it was like, oh dear God, look at the numbers. and then one of our kin mates, one of the officers is like, I want to pair up with my mini with your Captain Hunter, and we'll just do those together, okay? Right? And we've been continually reminded of that since then. So I suppose we need to do that sometime.
Oh, Carbronach. I didn't. Wait, Carbronach wasn't that difficult, was it?
I think it was more the sheer numbers, and everything's more spread out.
Yeah.
And that's why they just want to pair up and get things done quickly.
Okay.
I did spend an evening on The Odd Couple, which is the dwarf champion and the high elf minstrel. It's actually the stout axe champion and the high elf and minstrel doing quests in Lothlorien, and then got sent back to Moria. We're starting that part of the epic to deal with Mazog. And I haven't done enough festivaling on my high elf to be able to hurl on Mazog's feet, so I'm gonna have to find something else suitable and scathing to do when we're dealing with him in Mirkwood when we go.
Yes, the
And
joys
then
of Mazog.
speaking of Southern Mirkwood, my guardian wandered about Southern Mirkwood, smacking things. I had enough of lower level enhancement runes to go ahead and get her weapons, her allies currently leveled as high as they can for her level, and it's feeling pretty good. It's so different playing that than playing my hunters or even the minstrel. Just it feels so much different. So different way of thinking about things and how to, to attack them. In ESO, Sanswinda and Luanori and I spent some time in Craiglorn, which, for those who might not know the game that well, is kind of like a group questing area. Where basically we're wanting to get through the story because then you get a Nernhoned item to research. I know that's why Sans and I are wanting to do it, and probably Luanori too. But
Oh,
yeah, it is a grouping
actually,
area.
I probably need to go through there at some point.
It's kind of
Well,
fun.
yeah, I have other CP 50 160 characters that will need to go through there. So we could
Okay.
always,
Same.
try to get groups together to try to do that.
All
But
right, yeah, yeah. The next time you start a group through there, I'll need to do that because I have
okay.
not taken anyone through Craglorn yet.
I mean, the next one that would probably could go would be my Nightblade, and she has all of the way shrines open, but that's because she's also was my master crafter that I was doing. So she does she goes all the sneaking around and getting the crafting surveys there.
All right.
But the last time we were there, we were all significantly lower champion points, and I'm over 900 now. And Lunori is getting very close. Sans is coming up behind. She's been very busy this semester, but I'm sure she can catch up. But regardless, that's the one thing I do love. I've said before about ESO is it keeps us all in the same questing. We can quest together, and it scales really well with mixed groups. I don't know how they do it. It's magic. I love it. Um, but the delve bosses in this grouping area, which you would think would be pretty tough, they talk really tough. They're kind of. I've decided they have to be related to the goblins in LOTRO because they're screaming at you, die, and they die so quickly anymore.
Okay.
We were astonished.
Yeah, having
Okay,
that many champion points.
and these are from the group delves?
Yeah.
Because I know that there are some solo delves in Craglorn. Because I think I've been in one or two
It
of
had a
those.
plus by it.
Oh, I had a plus by it. Okay.
Not to mention we went through Ellen here, which is also like a kind of a group dungeony type place.
Yeah, to be kind of fair, like when we first tried this, we were like barely CP 160, CP 150 ish.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference having more champion points.
Yes. I'm much more shiny yet and much less squishy. It feels nice. Speaking of the shiny duo, though, also in ESO, we have finally left the swamp. We're no longer in Shadowfen, which, don't get me wrong, I loved all the Argonian stories, but I loved the area, but I was so tired I felt like my character had mold growing on it, even though they are pixels, because it just rains all the time. But now I need to figure out an outfit for snow, because you talk to Muzmuz, and he takes you to Windhelm, and we are in Eastmarch, in the northern part of Eastmarch, and it's all snowy. But it's been very interesting storyline so far. And we'd already done the public dungeon there in town, and there was when you get there, there's this festival going on. And there was a guy, I've got into the habit. Oh, they have a name. I'm gonna go talk to them just in case they tell me like there's a delve somewhere or there might be a little quest that we didn't know about, So, guy with a name. I go to talk to him. He goes, "Thank you so much for getting me out of there. It's so much easier to party out here." He was a guy that we had saved in that public dungeon that's right there in the middle of Windhelm a long time ago when we did that dungeon. I was like, "Oh, you!" Because it's been so long, I'd forgotten the name. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Well, Sans, what else did you get up to this week?
Well, I rolled a Knuckle Sandwich on Landreval, a brawler, to use my level boost to 130 on, and I'm working on leveling her to 20 hopefully, before using it, or until she dies before then. And yeah, it's been kind of fun. And then Knuckle Sandwich on Arkenstone, though, died at level 19 during the field trip this week.
Oops.
Yeah, oops.
Ouch.
Helping Candace trying to take on a camp of orcs with orange names all by herself, which was maybe not the best idea that I've ever had. Though, it was going okay, but not having a way to remove poisons or bleeds did her in when the two people that she was fighting were joined by several more walking through, and then they all decided to put bleeds and poisons on her, and while she made it away from that group, she did not survive the damage until one of her pots came off cooldown, so that was sad. But she took vengeance on the orcs and prevailed, and has retaken Weathertop, so that's pretty cool. And then I had fun running around ESO with Grendis and Luanori, and I finally got my Signal Fire Zephyr achievement for lighting all the signal fires during the New Life Festival very quickly. So, thank you, Grendis. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Finally, what were you up to? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, you really need a group for that. Divide up the task, and it goes quick enough
so
to
much
get
faster.
the achievement.
Finally, how was your week?
Yes, all right. We'll begin with my Crick Hollow Warden, who earned the Jaruka Allegiance Goat. So now I either call it the Jaruka Cloak. Sometimes I call it the Pine Leaf Goat because it looks like it has just the perfect coloring that my character would like, because it sort of has a darkish goat with turquoise trappings on there. So these are green.
Told ya.
Yeah. So I have that on my Crick Hollow Goat there, and I also completed the main storyline, which was very, very nice storyline that was all in there. So that's whew. And I'm trying to convince Senswinda to take one of her secondary characters through, because her primary character is currently tied up. And I also fought a colorful toad, a cog lurker, and a pink mumak.
Ooh.
You're saying that you saw pink elephants. It was a Heffalump.
Heffalump. Heffalump. All right.
Well, it's not Noozle. Sorry, I need the poo moment. I'll be quiet.
All right. And my honor warden listened to a rusty man who was making some promises. And my Crick Hollow brawler defended several points in Moria, then was asked to take a quick visit to Lothlorien before being sent back into Moria.
Just when you think you're out.
Just when you think you're out, you get sent back in. And I also did the brawler class quest, since they send you into the Foundations of Stones, and the Foundation of Stones is where you do the class quest for them.
Yeah, what was that like for the brawler?
Oh, for it was essentially, it's to challenge to bang on several stones in the Foundations of Stone that will attract nasty
Trouble.
mobs essentially that will attract trouble, and essentially, so you have sort of like a 5-round bout where each round is against a different monster that's answering
It's
your
like some
summons.
weird brawler dinner bell.
Yes, Robert Dinnerbell, I guess so. What do you think those metal gauntlets are for? Yes.
Now we know.
We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the Nation's page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We did not receive any emails. If you would like to send one, you can send it to podcast@LOTROplayers.com. You also also Twitter, the Players Alliance @Players Ally, and LOTRO Players @LOTRO Players, Arendis @Arendis, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda @Senswinda, Terry Edwin @Terry Edwin, Guarendis @Guarendis, and Calabathian @Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that's it for tonight. And this is Polyneedles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.